loading up here. Hopefully, I don't have any microphone issues. I don't get it. I guess it's just time to go ahead and get into microphone, but headset. But this has just been ridiculous. So Tom's trying to get this thing to work. All right. Well, welcome back to Rob's Arcade. We're going to try to run through this a little bit better today. I've been wanting to do some videos. I kind of did a little bit of this yesterday. Look how slow the dust is just kind of like floating in the air. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever really noticed that before. But I want to do some videos and talk about Friday the 13th. I know yesterday was like Valentine's Day, and for some reason I could not get my microphone to work at all on Friday. And it's so weird. Like, I don't do anything different. I don't do anything special. I guess maybe there's it could be a loose wire. I know I got a loose wire somewhere, but like I don't do anything extra special. But it seems like I have to load my GTA, and then the microphone works, and I can tell it works because the dude's mouth is moving. It's like, okay, and then I go back, and then I play another game and do another sound check, and then the microphone works. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's like it's not. I don't know if it's my headset or if it's just all the technology is just being ridiculous right now. But anyway, um, Friday I could not get any of this to work. Thursday was just a super long day, and then um, yesterday I came in and did a little bit, but it was late and I was kind of tired and I was like, just burnt out from the whole week. But I want to come in here and like, really take a look and really break down. Oh, there's a mask in the fireplace. That's interesting. Um, really break down the Friday the 13th movies and just kind of float around in here. I'm not really going to try to unlock a bunch of different things, but I'm going to float around in here a little bit and just kind of check some things out. If you're a fan of the movies, I think you'll recognize a lot of the stuff that is in here, even from like little decorations, like the dioramas of the different Voorhees houses and things of that nature. So I don't know. Hopefully you'll dig this, and I'll do a little bit better job. It's first thing in the morning. I've got my coffee. I've always got my coffee. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Friday the 13th. As I mentioned before, I think it's probably the franchise I have seen the most of, or the most times, especially the first two. As I stated, I used to believe that the first sequel, the original sequel, was the first movie. It wasn't until years later, and that's actually kind of a fun story. I was getting off of work and heading to a local, um, like Walmart overnight. This is back before COVID, when all the super centers were open like 24 hours a day, and you could go to Walmart at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was awesome. Uh, Stillwater. Isn't that a name of one of the characters? Could be. Prefer flats. Um, but I popped in one night after I used to work overnight, and I popped in one night to a Walmart to pick up a couple of things after work, and I got off early. I got off like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." And of all things, I actually needed like some hair trimmers. I used to cut my own hair, and I needed some new hair trimmers. And so I thought like, oh, let me just pop over to Walmart. I'll grab some hair trimmers. But of course, as you know, like you can never just go to Walmart and just grab like one thing. So of course I head over to like the movie section and the records and albums and video games. And over in the movie section they had this Friday the 13th DVD collection on sale. And it was like super cheap. I mean, it was one of the cheapest collections I think I've ever purchased. I think I got all 8 original Friday films. Like I don't even know if it was for like like a $20. I mean, it might have been with tax, like $20 with tax. I feel like it was like on sale for like 18, $19 or something like that. I remember doing the math, and overall, I think when it came down to it, I wound up paying like $2 and some change for like all of the movies, you know. And this is I'm also going to do this. I'm going to pull these up. I'm going to leave these up for a little bit so you guys can kind of read these. I think this will be kind of fun for you guys to check out these um, little trivia pieces here. Uh, but yeah, so I went and picked up these like clippers, and then I found the Friday the 13th DVD movie collection, and thought like, oh wow, this is great. Go ahead, and I like the hair clippers came with an X-Men um, like motion comic, if you will. Um, like it was like X-Men #1. I don't know if it was the original art. It might have been like redone a little bit, but it was all the old like dialogue balloons from the original X-Men #1, but it was like set to motion. So like some of the characters would kind of pan around a little bit and kind of move. Um, some of the backgrounds might, might move around a little bit, and they had some voice actors doing the voice bubbles and stuff like that. I just want to leave that up there for a little bit for you guys. This book was actually, yeah, it was in um, part 6. A bunch of campers, actually little kids, which was really creepy. That was like really scary. Part 6 had like a bunch of actual like little kids at camp, which is something they hadn't done before. It was like all the counselors would show up, and they would be like older, or the kids would be camp kids would be older, like high school, and these kids were like in elementary school, man. I don't think any of the kids actually got killed, but it was pretty scary. And this book is there, and then this was also, I remember this part of like the kids being under the bed and two boys joking about like, well, what did you want to be when you grew up? Because like Jason was going to come and kill them. But yeah, that night when I got home from Walmart, I was like probably like I'm making like I was on the fence. Do I watch the DVD of the X-Men or do I watch like the Jason movies? And of course, I watched the Jason movies. Like that was really a no-brainer there. I grab a little Jason mask here, a little camp setup. This is like a tent, I guess like you would find in the movies, but also kind of set up like in a little kid's bedroom, like they were camping. Like maybe Tommy Jarvis was like camping in his room or something like that. Let's see here. Uh, the first time I watched that collection, though, when I put in the very first, because of course I started with #1. I'm like, all right, let me watch. I was really confused. I was like, I kind of remember this movie, but I don't really remember this movie. I don't remember this being how it happened. And it wasn't until I got to the second movie that I realized I was like, okay, this is the one I feel like I watched the most as a kid. I know um, both were on the like on network television. Um, oh, we should dial that number, right? 7/13/1979. And then I wonder if that's a date you can set too. That's interesting. 7/13/1979. Actually, let's check anything else around here. But yeah, then that was like oh my gosh, spider. Okay, then when I got to part 2, I was like, okay, yeah, I definitely remember this movie more. The whole ending, Like I said, I feel like that was when I watched Jason. I was like, okay, this is the first movie. This is how it all starts. And I was just like really confused. Even like though I had like started watching horror movies at a very young age and kind of grew up with them. Um, as a kid, I didn't always know like what I was watching and what I was looking at sometimes. And um, it was just like I said, it was a very cool experience. And then one of the things I love about the first few films, the first, second, third, really all of the I think that first four um, of the Jason films, we got a nice little shot here of New York for Jason Goes to Manhattan, or Jason Takes Manhattan. I always think of it like Jason Goes, like as like the Ernest movies. There was like such a '90s thing. I kind of talked about that a little bit, but it was just like yeah, everything was about going to location, going to a different place, going somewhere interesting. And then there was like the Ernest P. Worrell, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail, all these different things, and I kind of felt like that was a sign of the times of movie making. Then, like you just kind of had to like if you want to get your audience to come to the theater, like, all right, we'll give us, sure, we've had Jason, but you know, how about Jason in space, Jason in the snow? Like, you got to like make the situations a little interesting. That's like I mentioned before. That was like from part four. I think it's Rob, the Jason Hunter, gets his rifle broken, which kind of shows the strength of Jason, just how powerful he is, which is like really really cool. The third film, for me was really where I feel like the formula that I really love about the Jason movies kind of kicked in. And as I mentioned before, it's not really Jason. Like I think Jason's a very cool character. The hockey mask look. Um, Sometimes he's in like a plaid shirt. Sometimes he's in a jumpsuit. It's just he's got a very wide look from his Freddy versus Jason, to Jason X, to Jason Takes Manhattan, all the way to the original Jason, like with the potato sack. There's just so many different looks, and they're all cool. I mean, I think like Jason's just like a very interesting character, um, but uh, he's not like a Freddy character or Chucky. Like Chucky to me, like that's when I put on Child's Play, I'm not watching it necessarily to see the characters or watching it for the characters he's going to kill. Like, I know he's going to mess some people up and all of that. But I'm watching it for Chucky because Chucky's hilarious. He's a cool character. Uh, Same with like Freddy. Freddy's very comical, has like a very interesting personality. Even Michael Myers, though there's no like talking, no personality really to the character, he's just so intriguing. But Jason never really grabbed me like that. There was a guy I used to, when I worked at the restaurant, there was a guy I used to come in all the time with his girlfriend. And they would get the same thing, like some fries, large cheese pizza, and not only did they always get the same thing, they or he always wore kind of like the same thing. He always wore like some baggy jean shorts or some baggy jeans and a Chicago Bulls cap and a Jason shirt, like a big baggy Jason shirt, Friday the 13th shirt. And what is this here? Nanotechnology. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. The med spray, nanotechnology from Jason X. So the studio's coming all the time, like rocking some Jason stuff, and he loved it. I mean, I'm talking every time I saw him, he was in a Jason shirt. There was never a time where he was not in a Jason shirt, and I like that idea. But it's like that's the character, man. Like that's like Freddy, I get. Chucky, I can see. Dracula, Wolfman, like some of these characters, like they just have, like Jason. I guess if anything, Jason just has that like, I'm not going to stop. I'm relentless. I have a mission. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to see it through. Nothing's going to stop him away or stand in my way. Not even death. Nothing's going to stop me. It's just like, nothing's going to stop in my way. Nothing's going to stop in my way. That should be a song. Nothing's going to stop me today. Nothing's gonna stop in my way. All right, so anyway, but he used to come in all the time just wearing like a Jason shirt. I was like, man, that's crazy. Um, like I said, I never like really identified with the character to that degree, or really even found him to be um, one of my favorite films, or excuse me, like franchise characters. But the films I love, the films are definitely up there, and I love those because of the cast of characters, and I feel like that really, that dude pee his pants. I think the dude pissed his pants. Um, it's really the cast of characters, and I feel like that really takes shape in part three. Like part three, you get away from it being just camp counselors. You know, it's like um, this weird collection of people come together. They go out to the woods and have a good time. They're like there to party. You know, it's like it's not a camp situation where before that it's all about setting up for camp, getting ready for camp. They get back into that with part six. Um, but outside of that, you know, it's either being used as a halfway house or used as some kind of party grounds. Some people are um, like kind of confused about some things, and like why, if in part four, and like part four is one of my favorite movies, if part four with Tommy and his family, and like these kids are partying, because that's kind of what the plot is. Again, it's not about camp. It's like some kids are partying, and they're partying with this, you know, or across the street from this family that's lived there. How come Jason's never tormented these people before, and now all of a sudden in part four, he's like, oh, I'm going to mess with these people? And it's one of those things like don't ask questions. Like you can't ask too many questions when it comes to like Friday the 13th films. But I don't know necessarily that that was even Camp Crystal Lake. I think that might have been in the area of Camp Crystal Lake, and there was a lake in the movie where they go skinny dipping, but I don't know that that's necessarily Crystal Lake. And I think that really what winds up happening is in part three, he gets killed and gets taken to a morgue, and he kills everybody in the morgue, and then leaves the morgue and then starts terrorizing Tommy and his family. I think that he found that home on his way back to Camp Crystal Lake. And then we don't get back to Camp Crystal Lake until part six when the kids come back. And then you see, okay, Jason's back now because now the kids are setting up for camp. And then it kind of like six will bring him, because part five had nothing to do with him, even though it took place at the camp grounds. You know, five really had nothing to do with Jason. Part six brings him back again with the kids kind of setting up for camp. But I always look at like part four as not necessarily a Camp Crystal Lake movie, but just something that he, you know, stumbled upon on his return home from the morgue in part three. You know, after he gets finished off in the cabin, you know, they take him away. And if we're talking like this is Camp Crystal Lake, I seriously doubt there's a morgue like right down the street. I'm actually watching part three right now. Like I said, it's one of my just like a weird collection. Got like these bikers. Like that was the thing, man. It was like always these like this cool weird characters that you would have. I felt like all of the kids, the teens were relatable. The girls didn't seem like these crazy, like out of reach supermodel types. A lot of these masks you're going to see from part four. The little Tommy Jarvis has this wild collection of different masks. Although I think that mask is from part two, when that skinny, weird little dude, who actually winds up like surviving, I think he stays at the bar. One of the counselors from part two puts that mask on and jumps out with a crazy spear and tries to scare all the kids. And it's actually quite an effective scene. I remember it actually did kind of freak me out when I was a kid. But once you know it's coming, it's kind of hilarious. Yeah, and everybody loved Tommy. Tommy Jarvis was a cool character. I think that's why I like part four so much. It was also like I mentioned before, like, you had the cool characters, some of the best character development in any of the Jason movies. But then you also had Tommy Jarvis, which was just like, everybody, it was like this, like they said here, like a young Tom Savini. Um, and everybody wanted to be Tom Savini when we were a kid. Actor, movie maker, dude had the cock pistol and from Dawn of the Dead, or no, from Dawn of the, well, he worked on some of the Dawn of the Dead remake stuff, from Dusk Till Dawn, excuse me, but yeah, he liked the cock pistol. Very cool guy. Part four, like I said, probably one of my favorite films out of the franchise. It's just brutal. It's like it's scary. It's brutal. That I mentioned Rob, the Jason Hunter. Um, he gets it so bad in that film, and when he's getting murdered, it is so. Oh man, it's like you can't really see what's going on, but he's just like screaming. Yeah, I think he's like he's killing me, he's killing me. And it's just like it's so. As an adult, I mean, it's still. I think it gets scarier as I get older because it looks so real. It looks so real. I like this idea too of these like little VHS tapes that they put in here. Friday the 13th went on to like I think inspire so many films of its kind. Halloween and Friday the 13th I think are the two films. I don't know which one I would give more credit to. I think I call Halloween the grandfather of these like the 80s slasher films that were to come about, but I really think Friday the 13th like really helped to craft those. And you had stuff like Sleepaway Camp and all these different movies that kind of came out subsequently afterwards that were like homages, if you will, a bit of a knockoff. This is how Kevin Bacon character gets it. Both of them, I think, get no. There's one where like both of them. Oh no, that's the one. Yeah, both of them get. I'm thinking of a different one. Okay, so what is it? Kevin Bacon. Oh no, Kevin Bacon gets it through the back, and it comes like through the bottom of the bed. And this is the one where I think this was part two, and the two girl or the boy and the girl, like the couple, they get shish kebabbed, like they're laying on top of each other, and they get shish kebabbed there. Is anybody under the bed? Kind of reminds me of the life jacket from part eight. Part eight is another great film, one of my favorites. I really enjoyed it because of how um, campy it was. Um, Again, some of the coolest characters. You had like a punk rocker, a video guy, um, the slutty girls, the jocks. It was just like it was just the weirdest collection of characters on this boat. And then you had the boat, which I really think they should have added a piece. Like everyone who talks about like the ship isn't their favorite part of Jason Takes Manhattan, but there's so little of Manhattan in the movie, and so much of it does take place on the ship that I don't know. Like there's a section of this game that will take you into like this one right here. I think is the one that takes you to like the space station, Jason, is what I like to call it, Jason X, and it'll take you aboard the spaceship for a moment. So I think it'd been cool if they had like put in some stuff for like the Lazarus. Which, if you don't know, the Lazarus is a ship that sailed away to Manhattan. It's amazing, like Jason swam like all the way to Manhattan. It's like crazy. All right, I'm gonna try to call this phone number and see exactly what happens here. So it's 1-5-5-5. It was 7-1-3-19. 79. Oh shit, it's ringing.
Unger Institute of Mental Health, how may I help you?
Is Tommy there?
Can you speak up?
Is Tommy there?
Ugh.
Hello? Oh, that was actually kind of cool. That was actually pretty awesome. I'm sure all of these little things have little, like the little maps and stuff like that have something to do with the rest of all of this. I think that's supposed to be Shelly. I wonder what happens if I put in that date into the computer. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and put this date into the computer, 7/13/1979, and see what happens here. Oh, it's not letting me use the computer. Oh, there we go. Go ahead and hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to talk through all the different films, and then oh, the phone is ringing. That happened before. Interesting. Alright. Well, don't go anywhere, guys. Like I said, make sure you smash the like button, share, subscribe, leave some comments down below. I'll be right back in just a moment. Hang tight. I haven't played long enough yet for 30 minutes. Interesting. Still got a minute. Let's go ahead and reset this then.